that desyncs so hard, dude. Like, desync on this build is an actual problem. Every time I feel like you leap slam, you're desyncing once more. And if you leap slam quite often, you desync even more and more and more, and then you saw that on the target here, where I spent like I don't know how many Wild Strike, and he didn't lose any life. And then it continues like that. It's freaking desync is an actual problem on this build. Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a closer look on the frost-based Wild Strike Berserker. So as I was explaining in my last video, which was like yesterday, we played the fire version of Wild Strike. Today we're playing the cold version, and tomorrow we're gonna take a look at the lightning-based Wild Strike Berserker. So let's make a quick map showcase. I think we're just gonna delete. Yeah, why not Phoenix? Phoenix is actually not too bad layout. I think all the Guardian maps is actually a good layout. But we're gonna see or take a look at the playstyle before we're gonna talk about the gearing for this character. So, get your blade, or at least like your Berserk rage up for more attack speed, and just, yeah, blow everything up. Like, this is what Berserk is known for, or at least like frost blades. And yeah, I know I will probably say this quite often. Frost blades. Oh, yeah, sustaining, cool. The reason why I'm always saying Frost Blades instead of Wild Strike is because this skill, the Frost Wild Strike, reminds me so hard on a Frost Blades character. It's an attack, you're shooting away projectiles and you're killing stuff that's behind it, right? So pretty much the same as the Frost Blades one. It's just up to you what you enjoy more, the Frost Blades or the Cold Wild Strike version. So what I mentioned yesterday is I wanted to play with a Dying Sun and also with maybe GMP on my main setup here. But I don't really see a reason to do so, because the main damage is coming from the actual hit rather than from the projectiles itself. The projectile is just nice to have, some better area clear than the fire version. But all in all, it's just like more like a visual effect, okay? Okay, yes, it helps you clearing, but the main damage still comes from your attack rather than the projectiles itself. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 modded blight mechanic here. And yes, dude, I'm just doing blight mechanics because you are probably interested. I'm personally skipping those. I don't know, it's for me personally it's a waste of time still, even after all those changes. Even though they are fixing, or they fixed the blighted map drop rate. So when you're running a tier 15 map and you are about to drop a blighted map from the mechanic, it's going to be a tier 15 one, right? In the other hand, how many blighted maps did I found in the entire league? I probably found 5 blighted maps. So I don't know, the drop chance should actually be buffed in the blighted maps, because I don't think, like, if you're saying, yeah, blighted maps are so cool or whatever, you cannot really farm those, you know, because I'm doing, like, as soon as I play tier 16, I gotta admit that, as soon as I play tier 16, or Guardian maps, better said, I'm doing the blight mechanic just because I hope for some maps drops and map sustain in general. But in the other hand, the loot is probably, yeah, nice loot. What we get here? Fire from the sky, perfect. Nothing. Here? Nothing. Regret. What is here? Nothing. What about this here? Nothing. Nothing. Pretty much sums up blight for me, okay? So, anyways. But as you see, once we are loaded up with the blitz stacks, we're doing insane amount of damage, and it's actually kind of wondering. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, and not one-shotted, but still respectable DPS, I would say. I think I wasn't even full on rage, so that explains the little bit less damage here, but it's still like so much overkill. I would say, in addition to the map showcase, we're gonna run a delve real quick, so you're gonna see how that looks like. And yeah, as you know it from maybe Frostblades, if you played that ever once, now on the Wild Striker, they are pretty much the same. So I would say let's run this at delve 250, I think, so it's still monster level 83. But you're gonna see that the clear is also insanely nuts here, right? So you're gonna load up your blitz charges, and then everything is just, yeah, more or less disappearing here from the screen. And yeah, as I said, I want to compare this one quite a lot to the Fire Berserker, because Fire Wildstrike Berserker, since I played this yesterday, so I have the comparison of it, right? And in the first hand, I thought that the Frost version will have better clear speed, but less single target. But surprisingly, the Frost version does actually have more single target than the Fire-based one, according to my path of building. The gear is, besides 2 or 3 items and the jewel, the same, right? But I think it's more about the Flask setup that gives me additional like 1 or 2 million extra. No, it's actually 3 million extra DPS, I don't want to lie, on the Frost Blades. But we're doing so much damage, then you don't feel any difference. Like if you're doing like 6 million DPS on Frostblade, on the Wild Strike, or 5 million or 8 million, you're gonna insta-phase almost everything anyway, so I don't think there is any big difference here. So it's up to you if you say like, well, I do like the visual effects from the Fire one, so I want to play this one over the Frost one, and so on. So it's actually up to you. I enjoy both at the moment, so I'm just more interested in the Lightning version, because as I said before, I was playing a Frostblades Raider in earlier days of the league. Now it's the projectile-based Frost Wild Strike, and for me they could be twins in the terms of playstyle, right? So it's nothing like super special or unique playstyle at all. The only problem you have, but this is I think a Berserk problem in general, is the rubber banding or rollback, what I call it. And this happens when you have like insane amount of attack speed with the more or less changed movement skills, right? So if you remember, there wasn't really a big deal. You see, this is what I mean. I'm damaging fully, and there is nothing happening. And this is because my character is actually somewhere else than it actually appears on my screen. And this is something, yeah, it's annoying. It's just annoying. It's not really a big problem, but it can get a big problem. I saw it today on my Uber Elder runs, because it took a couple of fragments to get a deathless Uber Elder run, just because sometimes I got hit by Shaper Balls, although there weren't even Shaper Balls near me, right? Because the rubber banding effect, I was like basically visually on another place where my character was actually. And this is something that you can fix with the lockstep mode and predictive mode. But since I like to play fast builds, I think that predictive is just better. You have a lag-less environment in total. But yeah, let's talk about the gear, how I progressed through this character. So we are a melee-based build. That's why I'm using 2 foils. And this is something I want to mention on this video as well, as I did on the Fire version. I'm using mostly shaped gear because in one day we're gonna make an Eternity Shroud based Wild Striker. So we are testing Fire, then Cold like we do today. Tomorrow we're gonna test the Lightning, and then in the end I want to convert into a Wild Strike with Eternity Shroud. And this is why I choose to go with Chaos shaped, then shaped spike gloves, shaped foils, and so on. So forget about this one. Okay, so if you just have to think of a shaped weapon will always have more modifiers in crafting than a non-shaped version. That means it's more likely to hit the Dictator's mob on a non-shaped weapon as well, rather than on a shaped weapon. On shaped weapons you get like Fizz's extra cold, Fizz's extra lightning, I don't know, chance to get a frenzy charge and kill, or whatever mods that are not existing on a non-shaped foil, okay? Just to mention that one. I'm running here a double Dictator's foil. Here, this is the physical accuracy stat here, then just Regal, Annual off, and then multi-mod with Fizz percentage, Fizz flat, then attack speed and the crit strike chance quality. Currently running 456 on this one and 450 on the offhand. Socketing in here is Leap Slam, Endurance Charge on melee stun, which always happens when you're hitting something with your Leap Slam, and 45 for additional layer of defense. In my offhand, I have Blood Rage with Enhance and Berserk. So the Enhance will profit both the Blood Rage and Berserk for additional attack speed. Then for the helmet, we're having a rare helmet. So every single rare piece you're seeing here, from helmet, the rings, the gloves, and so on, belt, is always like life resistance. So you're getting your capped res here and you're getting your life pool here. I'm running here Hatred with Herald of Ice, Precision, and Enlighten support. Why do I need Enlighten if I only reserve like closely 76%? Because I'm also running an aspect of the cat, and I'm just seeing I wasn't even running my Precision, which is bad. You should actually, if you have it. And yeah, this is why I use Enlighten, because without that one, I cannot reserve enough here. If you don't want to play with the aspect of the cat, you can simply level up your precision even higher. You don't need an Enlighten and then just level up precision higher. You just want to take a look at you're getting close to 100% on your hit chance, which is not quite hard after the melee changes happened in 3.7. Other than that, I have here the Wild Strike, a damage enchant, and other than that, nothing really special here. So we do have a problem. This is something we solved kind of easily on the fire version. So I was running this amulet here, which is, yeah, ally damage with attacks, life, and also minus mana cost of skills. As you maybe remember, I'm running triple minus mana cost on both rings and the amulet to have a total of minus 27 mana cost. That makes my Leap Slam for free, that makes my War Chief Totem for free, and also my Wild Strike. And this is something, even though, let's say, your Wild Strike costs only 10 mana, right? If you're having 20 attacks per second, that's a ridiculous amount of mana spent per second. And as a Berserk without the proper regen or leech mechanics built in, it's quite hard to sustain. So I'd rather spend some Chaos here on an Elder Astral Plate, for example, to get the minus mana cost mod combined with the rings here. We're getting 9, 18, 28, 33 mana reduced on my Wild Strike, which makes it for free. And this is something where you really can take out the maximum potential of your attack speed coming from the Berserker, right? Because there is nothing worse than you're hitting a target and every second the character says, "Ooh, I have no mana," you know? So this is exactly when you're hitting something with a default attack rather than your actual damage modifier. So, let's take a look at the chest. We have Wild Strike, Hypothermia, Elemental Damage with Attacks, Ruthless Support, Melee Fizz, and Multi-Strike. Pretty much the same on every single melee build, just getting the cold version on here. So as I was saying about the Shaped Amulet, because I lost track here, I'm using the Pandemonius. The Pandemonius is an amulet, a frost-based amulet, which gives you a lot of damage penetration, and also a chance to chill and stuff, which is also a layer of defense. So this amulet gives me a lot of damage and survivability. But therefore, if you don't have the currency for the Pandemonius, which are currently going for, I think, 3 Exalt, so it's not really too expensive. We're 1 month into the league. I think you should already have, like, farmed up 3 Exalts in a month of playing Path of Exile. Anyways, you can also go with any kind, okay, this is probably even more worth than the Pandemonius, but go with live ally damage with attacks, crit strike chance, multiplier, that kind of stuff, resistance, what you can get out of an amulet here. I anointed Tribal Fury because the Tribal Fury is the same as is a half Ancestral War Chief. So the Tribal Fury says strikes, kills, target 1 additional enemy nearby, which means I attack on the right side and the Ancestral Call, or basically the Tribal Fury, will attack on the left side, so we're getting even more projectiles out of that, more damage, more clearing speed. Then the rings here, we have one Shaped Ring, which has the Curse enemies with level 12 Assassin's Mark. This is our Power Charge Generator. Then just multi-modded life resistance, minus mana cost, ally damage with attacks, whatever you want to need, or what you need. The other ring is just, yeah, mine doesn't even have life on it, okay? This is how bad this thing is. Still, I have my resistance that I need to cap out my resistance, and also the minus mana cost again, so my Wild Strike is for free. On the gloves, I'm having Shaped Spike Gloves. Forget about the shaped aspect, it's just for the Eternity Shroud build that is in progress. This is just like aspect of the cat, since I cannot use it on my amulet, since I have it over here. So I had to take another one on the gloves, which is just life resistance, crafted fizz attack damage, nothing too special here. Running here the Val Ancestral War Chief, which gives me more melee damage, and this is significantly damage boost on bossing or whenever you want to place it. I don't think you need it anywhere on mapping. It's just like when you do Uber Elder, Guardians, map bosses, you can just place 2 of those and you're gonna one-shot basically the boss or within 1 second. Then we're having here Cast when damage taken support, Immortal Call level 3, and the Frost Bomb. So Frost Bomb is something you get hit by more than 528 damage, you trigger your Cast when damage taken, you're getting less damage from Immortal Call, and then you proc your Frost Bomb. Frost Bomb is basically a small orb here, right? That explodes, and once it hits the target, it's getting minus cold resistance because of the cold exposure. Since we're 100% cold-based build, we're just doing more damage out of that. Then for the belt, LD damage with attacks, life, resistance, whatever you can get. If you're running a Stygian Vice like I do, you can take Murderous Eye Jewel or any kind of Abyss Jewel that gives you physical damage with swords, for example, or like I have Onslaught. This is extra something. I mean, this is from my old version, but global crit multiplier with melee skills or with while dual wielding or something like that. I mean, the options are kind of endless here. For the boots, I still go or stick with the Chaos Roots since I'm using this build not only as a farmer but also as a boss killer. So we did a couple of Uber Elders already with this build, and I think for the Berserk, it's super nice to have Chaos Roots just because you cannot get slowed below base movement speed, which means that you will not get snared as hard on the Uber Elder encounter, and you also are freeze immune, which means I can only run like Bleed Immune Flask and Poison Immune, for example, so I can skip this freeze part completely, which is super nice quality of life. So for the Flasks, and this is something that gives this character so much damage, Wise Oak. Damage penetration, check that your cold resistance. Hey, I don't want to do updates now. What the hell? Okay, so my cold... No, actually my lightning resistance is now higher. God, I'm actually such a noob. Okay, how are we gonna fix that now? So, the highest resistance in the brackets is where you're gonna get your damage penetration. And since I'm actually having 3 over lightning resistance, means that I'm getting lightning penetration. Okay, so if... Okay, let's play this scenario. If you're, like, I'm playing a cold-based build. If your cold resistance is the highest among the other ones, you're gonna take a Wise Oak. Otherwise, take something else. For example, a Tyr's Promise for extra leech, extra LES chaos damage. Or you can take Ruby Dying Sun for extra projectiles, what I don't think is necessary. Take a Cinder Swallow Urn instead, just because of the onslaught, and also for the mapping speed, it's quite insane. That's actually quite funny, because yesterday I had more cold resistance, so I said like, wait a second, if I'm playing cold tomorrow, I'm just gonna get in the Wise Oak to get more damage, but as you saw, yeah, kind of fail on this side here, sorry for that. But then we have Alliance Roar, which gives you more melee damage. More melee damage is more fist damage. More fist damage is more cold damage because of the cold conversion if we're blocking fire and lightning. Then we have a Taste of Hate, which gives me Fist's extra cold damage, which is super nice. Also a chance to avoid being chilled and frozen, which is not necessary since we are having the Chaos Roots and the Diamond Flask for bleed immunity and for the crit strike chance. Why not Quicksilver Flask? Because this is a leap slamming build. You're rarely running around barefoot like this. You're always like leap slamming, killing, so we don't need movement speed at all. So let's take a look at the skill tree. What changes did we do to the yesterday's build? It's pretty much the same. We're still running the Transcendent Flash. Path of Building link is in the description below. For the extra multiplier and physical damage reduction, we switched away from the Lava Lash and took now the Fangs of Frost, which is the equivalent to the Lava Lash here. So there's actually respec 3 points get in this here. And then we want to have Point Blank. So why Point Blank? Because we're having a projectile-based build. So if you open now the Path of Building, I hope it saved the one that I was doing right before the video. Yeah, here we are. We are currently having 8 million Shaper DPS with the current setup here. Which is kind of insane, but you don't only do a cold hit, you're also doing an icy wave, right? And the icy wave is the projectiles that are spawning. These are affected by Point Blank. Could be, hey, wait a second, where is my projectile travel distance? Should actually be here, wait a second. If you have icy waves, then you have Point Blank, and now in the configuration, there's, there it is, projectile travel distance. If you're killing a boss, you have literally 0. So now we're doing 1.5 million. And if we have the Point Blank, we're standing in the boss, we're getting up to 1.8 million. So we're getting 600,000 Shaper DPS from the projectiles if we're just adding the Point Blank, which does absolutely nothing else, since this is actually just for projectile attack damage. And as I said, the Icy Wave is a projectile, so we can scale it with the Point Blank. Not too necessary, cause my main damage, as you see here, I'm doing 1.8 million for the Icy Wave, and my cold hit is, only does 8.3 million, right? So if you take Point Blank or not, it's not like the end of the world if you don't have it. Don't forget, the further the projectile travels, the less damage it's doing. But still, if you're having like, let's say 2 million Shaper DPS on your projectile, and it travels further and you lose DPS, it's still going to be way more than enough to kill off map packs, because this is for the speed farming aspect, right? So then we have one double multiplier life jewel here if you have the open jewel slot. Since we're running Hatred, we're running the base crit Hatred, Watcher's Eye Jewel, currently going for 4 exalts roughly. Then we have our 2 combat focus jewels. So one is blocking, like here, the fire, and here we are gonna block the lightning aspect. So we're only doing cold hits, and this is something that is new in 3.8, that the combat focus jewels not only affect the LE hit, it also affects the wild strike. Other than that, pretty usual generic melee build. 4 foils here with Fatal Blade and also the Blade Master, and here some more sword nodes, life nodes all over the place, dual wielding crit nodes, so nothing too special. The only thing that I want to mention is Point Blank and also the Fangs of Frost. As I said, path of building link is in the description below. Since we're a crit build, we are helping Alira for the extra multiplier and the resistance. Let's take a look at the Pantheons. When I'm doing Uber Elder, I'm running Solo Solaris and Yugol for the reduced cold damage taken and the physical damage mitigation. And if I'm running pure maps, then I'm going for Lunaris for the extra speed and Shakari for poison immunity, since I like to run the Yun modifiers. And if Tora comes and poisons you, you're gonna instantly die. So poison, immune to poison is not something bad at all. Let's take a look at the kind of poor MTX. We're running the Rat Pirate Bandana since it's a kind of, let's take off the cat stealth. We see that a little bit more. This is Ricardo cosplay, this time in the Frost version. So we're running the Harbinger Challenger eyes with Holy Eyes, or they are like light blue. Then Double Seraph Sword with the Sentinel weapon effect, some Outlaw boots, and the Dragon Hunter portal. Then we have Sin Leap Slam. Blood Rage doesn't have anything. Hatred doesn't need anything for now, since the other blue ones doesn't really look too cool. So I'm just fine with the blue circle here. And on the Precision, we're running the Soul Nexus. And then we are having the Dark Immortal Call effect, and Frostbomb doesn't really have something, or I forgot to buy. No, it doesn't have anything. Okay, that's great. All right, so final words, final conclusion. I think we talked about everything. As I said, path of building link, again, is in the description below if you just want to copy paste it and not worry about anything else. Conclusion now, since I tried the Fire and the Frost version, I just have to say there is not a lot difference. Both have insane good clearing speed, both have insane good single target if you have the currency, if you have some nice foils here, if you're getting some stuff here. But I think the Frost version is actually better than the Fire version, just because you have a better area of effect clear, and with the Pandemonius and all the Frost penetration, you're getting, I think, a little bit more single target DPS out of that one. But still, I cannot really 100% say, because if you have, as I said, 6 million Shaper DPS or 8 million Shaper DPS, it's not like you're gonna feel a big difference out of that, right? And yesterday I ran at a level 19 a Wild Strike, now I'm running a level 21, which can also explain the additional damage that I'm doing. So overall, as I said, it plays like a Frostblades character, and yeah, this is actually my current conclusion. It doesn't really matter, you just play what you like to play. If you choose to go Fire, go Fire. If you choose Cold, go Cold. It's not like you're gonna have massive disadvantages choosing one over the other. But yeah, now we're going to take a look at the lightning base. Do we actually have a nice lightning based theme here? What about Outlaw? Oh, it's just more Frost, right? Do we have some Scholar Web? No, that looks like a lightning thing, right? So yeah, now we're gonna take a look at the lightning base, and this is the one that I'm looking the most forward to, because I love Arc, and it's basically an Arc melee type of character. So yeah, check it out, or at least like check it out tomorrow, I would. So thanks for tuning in, guys, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.